A child who looks like me. Youngo and Jian were such a beautiful couple that everyone envied their love. Suddenly, one day, Youngo discovered she was pregnant. Upon learning he was going to be a father, Jian was overwhelmed with happiness and made a plan to propose to her. Unfortunately, on his way to meet Youngo, Jian was hit by a car driven by a stranger. After the accident, Jian's memories from about 3 years ago completely disappeared. Jian's mother also took the opportunity to separate Youngo and Jian, causing her to misunderstand him even more. Could Jian regain his memory and meet his child later? In a small corner of the street, a couple was talking, looking very tense. I just need one word from you, just say that child is mine. The girl sadly looked up at the guy standing in front of her. He kept asking pressing questions, that Yenna was his daughter alone. Just say Yenna is our daughter. The girl trembled under his harshness. She pursed her lips and pondered, I'm the one who has to endure everything. Involuntarily, she slowly raised her hand and gently touched the guy's face. Why does your face show such extreme pain? Who heartlessly made this man so desperate? He grabbed her hand and earnestly begged, tell me, please. Confirm it to me. His words made her even more heartbroken. I have to say that for this man. She gently let go of her hand and chose to reveal all the secrets she had been hiding for so long. Yes, the child is yours. After hearing the words from the girl's own mouth, his heart pounded wildly. He hesitated and continued, that little girl is ours. 7 years ago, she was extremely confused when she held the pregnancy test stick with 2 clear lines in her hand. No way. How can this be? This girl was Youngo. At that time, she was just a junior in college who had just stepped into life. Youngo still couldn't accept this harsh truth. She collapsed on the table in helplessness. There must be a mistake. I don't remember. I just went out for a drink. No. Could the problem just be the alcohol? Calm down, be calm. She hugged her head and tried to remember the events of that night. Then everything started to go wrong. After drinking alcohol, Youngo and Jian had intimate moments together. He confidently promised her, I won't do that. Just thinking of that part made her face blush completely. Oh my! Thousands of questions appeared in Youngo's head. What should I say when I meet him? Will he agree to take me to the hospital? What if he gets angry? She pointed to the pile of pregnancy tests on the table and shouted, how can you be angry with that? It's Jian's fault. It's all your fault. While Youngo was at a dead end, she suddenly received a new text message. She suddenly remembered that it was time for her date with Jian, our date. Without thinking much, she quickly swept all the pregnancy tests into the drawer, but one test was still left on the table. After getting ready, she quickly went down the street into the bustling crowd. Youngo tried to look around to find Jian. A few minutes later, she finally found him. Youngo quickly called out. She happily waved to Jian. This is my boyfriend, a 4th-year college student. As soon as he saw her, he immediately asked, why are you dressed like this? Then Jian suddenly put his jacket on Youngo. We've been dating for 6 months now. The first time we met was 8 months ago. That day, when I was in Australia on a working holiday visa, I met a man while I was standing and crying in front of the Korean department store because I hadn't eaten anything for 2 days. He lent me money without hesitation when I said I was exhausted. Since then, we've met more often. He's really kind. This thoughtful man is also very reliable. He always follows and protects me, always a perfect person until now. While Jian was fixing Youngo's coat, the girl became embarrassed, so she quickly pushed his hand away and grumbled, hey, I have my own fashion sense, okay? Jian laughed and praised, it suits you very well. But in Youngo's heart, she was still troubled by thoughts, but is he perfect? And using contraception for me, that in every moment of our body's pleasure, everything is under control. She quickly brushed away those thoughts and held hands with Jian to stroll down the street. The guy turned his head and asked, do you want to go eat something? She replied with a smile, I'm full. Suddenly, Jian stopped. He made a cute face and turned to ask, did you just refuse to eat? Youngo stuttered, not knowing how to explain because she was currently feeling very nauseous. Jian stared at her face suspiciously. He gently put his hand on Youngo's forehead to see if she was sick. That caring action, plus the handsome face of a Korean guy, made her heart flutter even more. He suddenly touched both sides of Youngo's cheeks. After knowing that she was okay, Jian put his arm around her shoulder and said, "Let's go. I'll take you home." A romantic sunset at Youngo's house. Jian carefully told her to go home quickly. Taking this opportunity, she also asked him, "You should come in with me." He immediately refused. "No, you look very tired. Go home and go to bed." Youngo smiled brightly and said, "No, I'm not tired at all. I have so much energy." On the surface, she was happy, but in her heart, she was extremely distressed. "Don't go. I need to talk to you." Even though she tried every way to keep Jian, she couldn't change his decision. "I still have some things to finish, so let's meet next time." Suddenly, a male voice called Youngo's name. Jian instinctively turned his head to look. A young man waved to Youngo with a happy face. She quickly recognized that it was her senior. As a habit, he ran to pat her head and kept asking, "Hey kid, how can you not see me for a whole month, even though we're neighbors? Are you that busy?" She only knew how to answer, "Yes, I've been a bit busy lately." The senior left and teased her, "Busy dating your boyfriend, right?" And so the two talked happily without remembering Jian's presence there. As soon as that senior turned his head, he was startled to see Jian's dark and murderous face. To ensure his safety, he quickly tried to get out of this place as soon as possible. "Okay, have fun playing. See you later." Youngo also smiled and waved goodbye to her senior. "Yes, drive carefully." After the senior disappeared, the smile on her lips also disappeared. She turned to explain to Jian, "He's a senior who lives in the same building as me. His room is also near mine." But the guy ignored that and told Youngo to go in. The girl was wondering, "I thought you said you had something to do." Jian didn't say a word, making Youngo even more confused. Both slowly walked up the stairs. When she stood in front of the room, those chaotic thoughts reappeared in Youngo's mind, making her even more worried. "I don't know why he changed his mind, but this might be good for me. I need to tell him, but where to start? What if he misunderstands what I want to say?" As soon as she stepped inside, Jian rushed to hug Youngo from behind. The bag on her shoulder also fell to the floor. Jian whispered in Youngo's ear, "My Youngo is so crazy beautiful." He also made a serious face and said, "That's a big problem." Youngo humbly denied, "What? You're even more beautiful than me." Jian turned her around and asked, "What are you saying? You can never compare to my beauty." So she leaned her head on him. Her heart felt like it wanted to jump out of her chest. Suddenly, Jian leaned his face close to Youngo and said softly, "It's quite cold today. I'll help you warm up." And so the two shared a passionate kiss in the freezing snow. After a while, Youngo interrupted that happy moment, worry increasing more and more. At this moment, she wondered what emotions he would show. Youngo finally used all her courage to confess, "I have something to tell you." Jian didn't get upset but gently told her, "Just say it. Don't keep it in your heart forever." Youngo hesitated. Because she was too nervous, she clenched her coat in her hands. Then she told him, "I'm so hungry." Jian sighed in confusion. "I've been wondering why you refused to eat." "Okay, let's eat together." Youngo smiled at him with gentle eyes. And so the main chef today was none other than Jian. The two kept discussing enthusiastically, "What should we cook? I only have Kim Kai." After thinking for a while, the guy decided to show off his Kim Kai pancake. Jian flipped the egg skillfully and caught the egg perfectly, no different from a professional chef. Youngo sat watching him cook with fascination. "Even though I've seen you cook so many times, I'm still captivated like the first time." Before her sweet compliments, he smiled happily. Finally, the hot and fragrant Kim Kai omelette was served on the table. "It's done." Youngo was also excited to enjoy it. "Let's eat." Jian also didn't forget to remind his girlfriend, "You should eat more." She chewed and replied, "I've eaten a lot already. How can I eat all of this alone?" A few minutes later, the plate of food was clean without leaving anything. Youngo smiled with happiness. It's not in vain to wait. It's so delicious. Suddenly, Jian touched her forehead and asked how she was feeling now. She quickly reassured him, "I'm fine. I was fine from the beginning." Jian glanced at her warningly, "Don't hide your illness." Youngo only knew how to smile at him and then thought to herself, I've decided when everything is clear, I'll tell him. Everything will be okay. After eating, it was time for Jian to leave. She was quite surprised that he had to leave so early. The guy said, that's right, work is still waiting for me. Let me clean this up. So before leaving, he carefully washed all the dirty dishes in the house. He also put the food in the refrigerator. Suddenly, Jian's eyes seemed to bump into something. He curiously turned his head to look. Then he found something on Youngo's table that looked familiar. So Jian went to take a look. The girl didn't know anything and happily came to him and said, thank you for the coat. Taking this opportunity, he also seriously asked her, what is this? As soon as he finished speaking, Jian turned around with the pregnancy test in his hand. Youngo froze for a few seconds. Before this awkward situation, without thinking much, she ran towards Jian, then snatched the stick from his hand and nervously threw it into the drawer. With his keen eyes, he soon discovered something else. The guy pulled the drawer open forcefully, revealing countless pregnancy tests inside. What are these? Before Jian's questioning, the girl only knew how to stand silently in fear. Seeing her trembling like that, he suddenly realized that his actions were a bit too much, so Jian gently put his hand on her shoulder and comforted her. Okay, don't mind it. First, you have to calm down. It's okay. Nothing happened. We'll talk later, okay? When he got home, he put his coat on while talking. Before leaving, Jian still didn't forget to tell Youngo, I'll contact you later. After he left the room, Youngo still stood silently for a long time. It was late outside. Youngo lay listlessly on the bed. Suddenly, the phone rang. She picked it up and saw that it was a call from her love. As soon as she picked up, Youngo trembled and said, yes. On the other end of the line, Jian immediately apologized, I'm sorry. Did I wake you up? Did you put tangerines in my pocket? She sat up and replied, yes, please eat them. Jian suddenly called her name in a serious tone. Youngo, go to the hospital with me tomorrow. Youngo sat blankly for a while. She still couldn't believe that he would say these words to her. Jian kindly asked, you also need to get a pregnancy record book, right? I searched online and saw they say they would give you something like that. While talking, he fiddled with the proposal ring in his hand. Jian's care and understanding made Youngo extremely touched. Her eyes were teary as if she was about to cry because she couldn't control her emotions anymore. She burst into tears like a child. I thought you hated it. Seeing her like that, Jian became even more worried. Why would I be like that? I'm sorry. So, are you free? Let's meet and talk, then go to the hospital together. Youngo became much more excited when she unloaded the burden in her heart. She smiled happily and agreed to his proposal. Jian gently called Youngo's name again in a warm voice. She asked curiously, anything else? He smiled and planned to say, I love you. Those were the words she should have heard, but then he chose to hold back. And then finally, he only knew how to say to Youngo, good night. After hanging up, Jian kept smiling to himself. Tomorrow I have to act. It might be a bit sudden, but it will definitely be great. Although we've never done that without using protection, maybe there was a time we were careless. It's just a small mistake. Now everything has gone this far. I want to marry her as soon as possible. My dear Youngo, I will build a dream with you. I will try to become better for you. I love you. The proposal ring was also ready to be given to Youngo. Early the next morning, as soon as Jian finished showering, his phone suddenly rang with a notification. Youngo sent him a lovely text message, see you later. After reading it, Jian smiled happily. Looking at the way she texts, she must be very excited. He carefully stood in front of the mirror to fix his hair and clothes. In his head, he kept calculating the plan carefully. I need to go to the flower shop, so I should leave around 2 o'clock, he thought, planning to choose his favorite tie. Jian's mother suddenly called. As soon as he picked up, he quickly said, I'm listening, Mom. The mother had a little doubt. Are you busy? The guy honestly replied, a little bit. She sadly told Jian, how could you come yesterday without saying a word to me? I'm so sad hearing this. He only knew how to say 2 words, I'm sorry. I've been too busy lately. The mother looked at the family picture and kept complaining about Jian. You're always spinning like a top. Mom has come home and played chess and had dinner with Dad. Jian also asked a few questions. So everything is okay? The mother only sighed and recounted, nothing too bad happened to me, but a few days ago someone threw eggs at your brother's car. There are so many weird people in the world. Be careful. Jian smiled and reassured his mother, you don't need to worry about me. I need to pick her up early. There's someone I want to introduce to you. She was quite surprised after hearing this. Who is it? But Jian insisted on keeping it a secret until the last moment. Okay, I'll call you back later. As soon as he finished speaking, his mother hung up. The guy sat silently for a few seconds, then put on a very elegant suit. He didn't forget to bring the proposal ring. After preparing everything, Jian quickly left the house. He always imagined a happy family with Youngo and their unborn child. He couldn't imagine how lovely the child would be if it looked like Youngo. One day, he would let their child print their first footprints on the white snow of the first season. He would teach them how to ride a bike, holding their hand tightly to avoid all the cruelty of the world. He would look at them carefully and say that he loved them with all his life. He pressed the down button to open the elevator. Finally, the guy managed to get out of the apartment. On the way to the car, he kept looking at the watch. I'm not late, am I? While walking normally, suddenly there was a loud braking sound, making Jian curious to turn his head to look. The bright light of the headlights shone directly on his face. Everything happened too quickly, so Jian didn't have time to react. The car rushed towards him at the speed of light. In the blink of an eye, Jian was lying on the ground. The impact caused a severe head injury. Blood kept pouring out like a waterfall. No, this can't happen. Suddenly, footsteps approached. Jian, lying down, wore a baseball cap covering his face. That person suddenly asked Jian, have you ever heard the name? Jian was confused, not understanding what was going on. Before he could understand the situation, the stranger left. Jian tried to use the last of his weak strength to beg him, don't, please save me. But in response to his plea was a loud roar of the engine. He brought his trembling hands closer to his coat pocket. It seemed he didn't have enough strength anymore. It's not good. I haven't picked you up yet. What if you cry? I just want. Youngo was startled and panicked when she met Jen's mother. The woman stared at her with a murderous look. Youngo became flustered. I'm sorry, is this not young Jen's house? She immediately asked. Are you Youngo? The woman questioned. The girl nodded in response. The woman stood with her arms crossed and introduced herself. I am Jen's mother. Come in. The mother glared at Youngo with hatred. Seeing her actions, Youngo secretly despised her. She immediately took off her shoes when told to come in. You really grew up without a father, Jen's mother said with a serious expression. Youngo was scared and sweated profusely. She politely bowed and said, hello, I'm very happy to meet you. Before she could finish, the mother interrupted. What the hell are you doing trying to open other people's doors? Youngo gently explained, Jen told me the password before. She snapped back, the password has been changed. If you keep trying and can't get in, shouldn't you give up? Worried, Youngo asked, I'm sorry, but has something happened to Jen? I'm very worried about him. Her concern made the mother even angrier. She said bluntly, how long are you going to bother Jen for? I've been wondering how much of a nuisance that person is, that Jen has to complain to me. If you understand, then don't look for him anymore. As soon as she finished speaking, she turned and left. Seeing this, Youngo quickly ran after her and grabbed her hand. Mom, please, can you let me call him just one more time? She decisively shook off Youngo's hand and shouted loudly, who allowed you to call me Mom? Because of you, my son. Her lips trembled uncontrollably. Jen's mother used her last bit of kindness to warn Youngo, leave while I'm still being nice and don't bother Jen anymore. This request left Youngo stunned. At the hospital where Jen was being treated, his mother was always sitting by his side, confiding in him. The surgery was a great success, so why haven't you woken up yet? It's been 2 weeks. Didn't you say you would never let me worry? Yunai shyly appeared at the door of the hospital room. Mom, she said. As soon as she saw her, her mood brightened a bit. Oh my, you're here, Yunai. She sat down and began to ask, Have you rested at all, Mom? She tried to smile brightly and said, I'm fine, but Yunai was still very worried. Don't be like that. You'll faint at this rate. At least you have to get some nutrition in your body, so I asked a doctor I know to make it for you. She firmly reassured her, I'm really okay. Yunai was determined to coax Jen's mother to go home and rest. I think he'll wake up today. I bet he'll look for you first when he opens his eyes, so you have to look at him with a face full of energy. She smiled happily when she met such an understanding girl. She's so smart. I heard Yunai is the daughter of Judge Charch. She even received an excellent scholarship. Jen should date someone like this. She turned her head and smiled at Yunai. Okay, I'll listen to you then. Yunai happily replied, yes, Mom. Be careful on your way. She didn't forget to wave goodbye to Jen's mother. Yunai suddenly became more cheerful. She put her handbag on the cabinet and kept praising Jen's manly beauty. How can you be so handsome? Yunai sat and admired his handsome face for hours without getting bored. Should I steal a kiss? He won't know anyway. Just as she was about to act, a sudden voice rang out, startling her. So unexcused, Yunai was furious that someone dared to ruin her good deed. You almost made me faint, Park S. He curiously asked Yunai, why are you so surprised? Don't we meet often? This is Park Sangu, Jen's high school friend as well as his military comrade, the person Yunai extremely hates, and of course so does she. Yunai sighed and turned to talk to him. Why are you here, Park? He casually replied, what other reason would I be here for? Of course to visit a friend. That's right, something is very strange. Jen's accident happened at 1:10, but the call to report the discovery came at 1:30. Moreover, the caller was a man. Hearing this, Yunai was a little startled. Suu felt curious and asked Yunai, you said you were a witness to the incident, but you didn't report it immediately, did you? She tried to remain calm and explained to Suu, my phone was out of battery, otherwise I would have reported it as soon as possible. Hearing this, he felt even more unreasonable. If the phone was out of battery, you could have run to the support room to borrow a phone to call. Yunai suddenly sat up in a panic. Jen began to have unusual reactions. Suu and Yunai immediately called his name loudly. The guy took off the ventilator himself. As soon as he saw his best friend wake up, Sangu teared up and asked Jen, can you see me? Do you recognize me? He looked at Sangu with blank eyes, then gently asked, who is it? Suu was stunned. He tried to ask again, you don't know me? Park Sangu. We went to the same high school and university, and I was your squad leader in the military. We've always been close, even when you were discharged. You really can't remember anything? Are you kidding me? Jen asked blankly, the military? I went to the military? Upon hearing the news that her son had woken up, the mother rushed to the hospital. She kept asking Jen, are you okay? Can you talk? Do you know how worried I was? Suddenly Jen's face became distorted, looking very painful. After receiving the doctor's diagnosis, she could only stand in the hallway with a sad expression. It seems that his memory from about 3 years ago has disappeared. He can only remember everything until he was 23 years old. Restoring his memory is the top priority. The family should try not to stress him too much. Yunai approached and tremblingly called her mom. As soon as she saw her, Jen's mother couldn't control her emotions and turned to respond, Yunai, the doctor said that his memory from 3 years ago is gone. It's unclear whether those memories can come back or not. As she spoke, her hands trembled uncontrollably. Hearing this, Yunai was equally shocked. Then he must have forgotten me too, right? Oh, maybe Mom doesn't know yet. Jen was quite sweet to me. He said that we would become a couple when we returned to Korea, but he probably doesn't remember anything anymore. Her face lit up again when she heard this. Good story, isn't that great? You too can start over. Yunai shyly asked, do you really think so, Mom? She replied without hesitation, of course. Inside Jen's hospital room, he sat on the hospital bed with a dazed expression. The mother came in and asked, are you awake? How do you feel? He turned to reply, okay, I guess. Seeing her son like this, she couldn't hide the sadness clearly on her face. To make the atmosphere more cheerful, Jen's mother changed the topic. So you've met Yunai before, haven't you? When you were unconscious, she came to take care of you every day. Fortunately, Jen still remembered a little about Yunai, Chacha's sister. He happily confirmed, that's right. And also, do you remember this? Yunai said you liked her very much before you went to study abroad. You even wanted to date when you returned to Korea. After hearing her tell the story, he found it strange. Really? That's weird because Yunai's sister isn't my type. Jen's mother immediately said a few good words for Yunai. She's just a little quiet, but she's very pretty and kind. She's also very thoughtful to me. Suddenly Jen's headache came again. Seeing his uncomfortable expression, the mother was very worried. What's wrong? Does your head hurt again? She could only sit and watch her son go through the pain without being able to help him. After a while, Jen turned to reassure his mother, I'm okay. It's just that I have a feeling that I've forgotten something very important. One day, Youngo went to the hospital alone for a regular prenatal checkup. Seeing other people with their husbands taking care of them, Youngo felt even more lonely. In order not to let anyone see her at her weakest, she quickly turned around and burst into tears. She had to vomit every day because of the baby in her belly. At times like this, Youngo could only lie on the bed in exhaustion. Suddenly the phone rang. As soon as she looked at the caller's name, she realized in a panic that it was Jen calling. Youngo forgot all her fatigue and sat up, saying, Hello, Appa. On the other end of the line, a voice asked, Leono? Her eyes teared up again. It was really his voice. She said in a reproachful tone, Why didn't you contact me? What happened? Do you know how worried I was? Jen politely replied, Thank you, I'm fine. Youngo got out of bed and worriedly asked, Where are you? I'll come right away. Just when she thought they would be happy together again, Jen said something that left her completely stunned. I heard that Mom came to talk to you on my behalf. Everything is over, right? She asked blankly. Jen said bluntly, That's enough to clarify the situation, right? It would be very troublesome if you continue to call me. So can you stop this? You don't want to ruin other people's lives, do you? If you continue to contact me, you better prepare yourself for the consequences. Youngo tremblingly asked, Consequences? Jen didn't explain anything further. He just sighed and said goodbye. I'll assume that you understand, so I'll hang up now. Take care. Youngo still couldn't believe what had just happened. No way, this can't be real. She tremblingly called Jen again. This must be a joke. The whole sky collapsed completely when Jen didn't answer her phone even once. The subscriber you are calling is temporarily unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep. Time passed quickly. Today is the first birthday of my child. The child said Mama for the first time. I don't know where she learned it from, but sometimes she even says Dada. Jen, our little girl can run now. Today she's going to kindergarten. She's very curious and eats very well. She also likes to touch my face and sometimes hums cheerful nursery rhymes. Do you know that next year Yenna will be in first grade? She is lovely, cute, and has many friends. Although she lacks the love of her father, Yenna is still bright as the morning sun. I don't want to wait for you anymore. Outside the park, the little girl curiously asked her mother, Mom, why is there a toy vending machine here? Why did people put this here? Mom, this is the lovely little girl Yenna. The little girl stubbornly asked her mother to explain it to her. Mom, why? Why? Youngo chuckled and asked, Yenna, are you asking that because you really want to know or because you want something in here? Be honest. Yenna made a clever face and replied, Because I want a toy. Youngo had no choice but to give in. Okay, just one. Okay, you're already so tricky at just 5 years old, just like someone. Then she gave Yenna a few coins and told her, Listen to Mom, just take one, okay? Yenna happily ran to the machine and put the coins in. She quickly turned the control knob and a random egg fell out. Yenna smiled brightly and shouted to her mother, Mom, look, it dropped right. What I wanted. Youngo was quite surprised Yenna liked this. The little girl smiled brightly and replied, Yes, it looks like a ghost stone. One black and one white. Seeing her daughter have such mature hobbies, she felt happy in her heart. Youngo sighed and told Yenna, Okay, put it in your bag and remember not to play with it outside. The little girl obediently followed. The hope that one day he would contact me has disappeared. Now that I think about it, he never said he loved me. I am happy with my current life because God brought Yenna to me. As soon as she got home, Yenna called out to her grandmother. Grandma. She happily came out to greet her beloved granddaughter. My little princess is back. Come sit down and eat. So the three of them sat down to have dinner together and talked lively. It's very delicious, Mom. Really. At the same time, Yenna glanced at her mother as if she had a sneaky plan. Just as she was about to put the ball on the table, Youngo quickly stopped her. Yenna, I told you not to play with food. The little girl made a pouty face and replied, I'm sorry. The grandmother sat on the side smiling at Yenna's cuteness, then thoughtfully picked up a lot of food for her granddaughter. My little puppy should eat this too. Seeing the grandmother always spoil her granddaughter like that, Youngo sighed and told her mom, let her do it herself. But she quickly retorted, but if you leave her alone, she won't eat. Hearing this, Yenna immediately flattered her, it's okay, Grandma. Just seeing Mom eat well makes me feel full. Before Yenna's sweet words, both of them burst out laughing. I don't know what to say to this little puppy. After finishing dinner, Youngo helped her mother clean up the dirty dishes on the table. Before she knew it, her mother snatched them away and told her, go inside quickly. You have to prepare for tomorrow's work. The girl asked blankly, what do I need to prepare for? The mother worriedly said, after all, it's the first day with the boss. Youngo didn't have any worries at all and quickly helped her mother wash all the dirty dishes in the kitchen. I just need to relax, so please rest, Mom. The mother could only look at Youngo with affectionate eyes. Early the next morning, she quickly left the house. I'm leaving. The mother didn't forget to remind her daughter, be careful. Remember to eat lunch properly. Youngo smiled brightly, hoping for a smooth day. On the way, she had a phone conversation with her boss. Yes, department head, I'm on my way. He immediately said, Assistant Lee, I plan to go to Nom. Hearing this, she was a little confused. Aren't we going to the headquarters in Ivory Planning? The department had announced shocking news to her. The company has been sold to Max Planning. The official announcement was from yesterday. Didn't you see it? Youngo stood still for a long time. Everything happened quite quickly. So I was assigned to Max Planning without having to rewrite the labor contract. It's a little surprising, but I think I'll get used to it soon. Max Planning treats assistants much better anyway. I'll be moving there sooner or later. There's nothing to be afraid of at Max Planning. Youngo stood and carefully read the information board posted in the lobby. An advertising company owned by the Song organization. At first, she thought she would be working at Enry Planning, but then it was changed to Max Planning. Is that a good thing? Anyway, it's a big company and close to home too. Suddenly, a man approached and called her name. Leong Oh. The girl turned her head in a panic and replied, yes. The man greeted her with a smile, nice to meet you. I'm Park S from the Human Resources Department of Max Planning. She replied awkwardly, hello. Then he turned to say to his superior team leader, this is our new content creator, Leong Oh. She smiled brightly and introduced herself, nice to meet you. I'm S. Miron, team leader 2 of the production department. Youngo also politely shook hands. Nice to meet you. She secretly felt that she seemed very easygoing. The two of them went inside the elevator together. During that time, Miron took the opportunity to confide in Youngo a little. You must feel quite confused when transferring from Ivory Planning to here, right? She also honestly shared, yes, a little bit. Miron also did not hesitate to say, there is still no content creator in the team. That's why I sent a request for this area urgently. Youngo followed behind the team leader. An eerily silent atmosphere was in the entire office. Miron also found it strange. Why is it so quiet all of a sudden? This is our new person, come here, Assistant Lee. Seeing that no one was too enthusiastic, Miron had to shout to get attention. Everyone, pay attention here. She is the new member of our team. Her name is Leong Oh, the content creator of the team. This is the graphic designer Song Kian. He gave a bright smile and greeted Youngo. Miron continued to introduce, Over there is the deputy program director Park Yang-kwong. He also waved to her. That's also the designer Go Yunu. This person had a cold appearance. She turned to nod and said, "Nice to meet you." Yunu's attitude made Youngo a little startled. She didn't look very comfortable. However, she tried to remain calm and replied, "I'm looking forward to working with everyone." Team leader Miron also kindly led Youngo to her desk. "This is your workspace. Let's Kyun introduce you to everyone in the company later." He immediately agreed. The bustling atmosphere suddenly disappeared again. Everyone continued their work. Miron found it a little strange, so she whispered to Kyun, "What happened? I feel like the atmosphere has been tense since morning." He replied softly, "Director Jong is here. Aren't you going to see him?" Hearing this, Miron turned to Youngo and said, "Oh, you don't have to greet everyone. Let's go for now, Assistant Lee." Although she was a bit curious, she could only follow along. During break time, Miron and Youngo took a walk around the company. Taking the opportunity, the team leader also gave her some advice. "Actually, the director is even scarier than the CEO. It's only been a week since he came here," Miron said with a serious expression. "Hek, the chairman's son." Youngo widened her eyes and replied, "I understand." Coincidentally, the director Miron had just told her about was also there. Youngo thought to herself, "The chairman's son, he and I must belong to different worlds." Suddenly Youngo stopped abruptly. The director's face was clearly visible in front of her. Youngo was extremely shocked to recognize that familiar face. Fate is truly a trickster. "He's here." Youngo's heart rate increased unexpectedly. She kept staring at the director, that body, that face, the person she couldn't mistake for anyone else, the father of young Jen's child. Countless questions appeared in her mind. Why is he here? Jen walked slowly toward Youngo. The closer he got, the more Youngo's heart raced. Her hands and feet also began to feel weak. Unable to withstand this shock, Youngo's entire body began to stagger, unable to stand firm. Just as she fell backward, Jen managed to grab her arm in time. They both looked into each other's eyes. No one could have imagined that Youngo and Jen, after years of no contact, would meet again in this situation. "I've imagined this happening once or twice, that one day we'd accidentally see each other. Every time, I reminded myself I absolutely cannot be sad when I see you. After hundreds of thousands of times, it's still too much for me." Yo's body began to tremble violently, and the suppressed emotion seemed to burst out. Looking at the figure in front of her, Jian gave her a cold look. The two just stood there, looking at each other for a long time. Miron was flustered, not knowing what to do. Finally, she had to break the terrifying silence. Miron introduced enthusiastically, "Director, this is the new content creator of Production Team 2, Assistant Deputy Leong O." Jian was slightly surprised. "A new person? Nice to meet you." He extended his hand to shake hers. "By the way, my name is Young Jian." Seeing his cold and calm demeanor, Young's eyes flashed with disappointment, then bewilderment. "Is this your answer?" In another noisy place, Dolin's scream echoed, and the boy pleaded helplessly, "No, don't. I don't want to go in. I don't want to go to school." Dolin struggled with his mother, determined not to enter the classroom. His mother nagged immediately, "I'll teach you a lesson when we get home." Dolin's mother began to complain, "You were the one who said it would be fun to be on TV." Dolin gloomily hid in a corner. His mother continued to grumble, "You insisted on joining the class from the beginning, and I paid for you to participate. Why are you changing your mind now?" Dolin was very upset, but it was all his fault, so he had to endure it. He reluctantly followed his mother to the classroom, although he was still crying at the classroom door. His mother encouraged Dolin and promised him a reward if he behaved well. "Honey, just 30 minutes, okay? If you go inside and sit and study for 30 minutes, I'll let you play games for 30 minutes when we get home." At this time, Dolin wiped away his tears, feeling a little happier but still whining an hour later. His mother sighed and agreed to the request. "Okay, then go inside quickly." Dolin obediently listened. His mother solved the first difficult problem, but she couldn't help but feel sad. It's always like this, always having to use video games as bait. Am I a good mother? Inside the classroom, Dolan sat in a corner sobbing, ignoring the fact that the other children were all practicing together. Suddenly, a girl came up to him and started talking. "Hey, don't cry anymore. Look here." The girl pulled up a chair and sat opposite him. Then she held out her hand, palm down on the table, and said, "Do this." Dolan didn't understand why, but he did as she said. The girl began to place ghost stones on the back of Dolan's hand, 4 black and 1 white. Dolan was confused. "What is this? What are you doing?" The playful girl said, "If you drop them, I'll flick your forehead." Then she gave a bright smile. Dolan's heart skipped a beat, and his cheeks began to flush. The girl introduced herself. "I'm Lionel. What's your name?" Dolan replied, "Park Dolan." The girl continued, "You go to Oro kindergarten, right?" Dolan was startled. "How do you know?" Lionel said softly, "I saw your name on your backpack yesterday." The more the girl said, the faster Dolan's little heartbeat became. The fact that she had noticed him since yesterday impressed him even more. "She saw me yesterday." Lionel returned to her own game. "Look, this is a white stone, and that's a black stone. I know which one you like." Dolan shyly replied, "Black." Lionel took a white stone and placed it in the middle of the Go board. "Then I'll put my stone here to capture yours. Do you know how to do it?" Dolan focused on thinking, gently placing several black stones on the Go board until 4 black stones surrounded the white one. Lionel exclaimed in surprise, "So you know how to play?" The girl smiled, her face radiant. "If you know how to play, why were you crying? Don't be a crybaby." At this moment, Hubert officially shot Dolan. His heart skipped a beat. "I'm Park Dolan." He'd never met a girl like this in his entire 6 years of life. Outside, Dolan's mother looked anxiously inside. "It's been 30 minutes, but he hasn't come out yet. Could he have been crying since then? Ah, here he is." But contrary to his mother's expectations, Dolan waved goodbye this time. Moreover, his face was brighter, and a smile bloomed on his lips, which surprised his mother. "Hey, he's smiling." Park Dolan ran straight to his mother, ran as fast as a flower, and shouted loudly. He jumped into his mother's arms and hugged her tightly. Seeing her son so happy, his mother felt relieved. "How was class? Did you have fun?" Dolan replied excitedly, "Yes, I loved it." His mother stroked Dolan's head and asked kindly, "So, what did you have the most fun with?" Dolan blushed and shyly asked, "Mom, what are the signs that you've fallen in love with Dad?" His mother chuckled softly. "Oh my gosh, you even know about that." Dolan nodded and smiled slightly. "Yes, because I felt that way today." His mother and Dolan left. The boy said excitedly, "Mom, from now on, I'll go to school diligently every day." Back at the company, Jian focused on reading the report, but he still couldn't focus. "Why does that bother me so much? What's the name of the content creator from Team 2? The image of the girl he met that morning still made him think. She gives me a strange, rather uncomfortable feeling." At this time, a knock on the door suddenly rang, interrupting his thoughts. Miron entered and nodded slightly to greet the director. "This is the list of candidates." Jian reached out to receive the documents from Miron. Skimming through a few pages, suddenly he spoke up and asked, "That new content creator, did she have a health checkup before joining the company?" Jian handed back the file. Miron received the question, which confused her. "Of course, it's mandatory." Jian then said, "She looks like she could collapse at any moment. It seems like there's a problem with her health." Miron was flustered because after leaving the director, Youngo immediately became radiant. Maybe it's because of the director, but who would say that directly? Miron changed the subject. "Maybe it's because she was too nervous. She looks quite outstanding." Jian's expression suddenly became serious. He said sternly, "Does this seem like I'm joking?" Miron was startled and stood still as a statue. Jian immediately made a request. "Call assistant Le Young-o here right now in the office." Young-o was listening to a new colleague explain how to work on the computer. "To submit your work, you can put it in the company's shared folder. It's quite convenient because you just have to drag it in." Young-o nodded, continuing to ask, "At my old company, we used cloud storage. Aren't you worried about security?" Kyun immediately explained, "That's why we have folder passwords." Young-go was surprised, as if enlightened. Oh, passwords. Thank you, Kyun, I've learned a lot. Kyun was flustered. I've only shown you everything I know. After all, I've only been here for 3 months. At this time, Miron suddenly came to them. One side was happy and normal, while the other side of Miron was a dark abyss. She called out, Assistant Deputy Lung-o, Director Young is calling for you. Young-o was surprised. Miron turned around and walked away listlessly. Don't mind me, let's go together. Young-go looked at her faltering gait, feeling somewhat worried. She hurriedly ran to stop her team leader. I can go by myself. Miron shook her head and said, It's okay, I'll go with you. But be careful, it'll be quite terrible. Miron trembled and raised her hand in a thumbs up. Let go. Seeing her pale face and hearing her reminder, Young-go suddenly felt uneasy. Why? Soon, she hurried after the team leader. He looks like he doesn't know me at all. Is he planning to ask me to quit? Tell me to get lost because I'm interfering with his life. Miron knocked on the door, then pushed the door open and entered. Director, I brought Assistant Lung Young-go here. Jian stood up, then walked over to Young-go. Are you okay? Young-go was surprised. At this time, Jian explained, earlier, when we met, you seemed quite uncomfortable. Young-go didn't understand even more, her face was blank. Jian continued to scold, hitting her sore spot. You applied for Ivory Planning but ended up in Max Planning. You're disappointed that you didn't get into the company you wanted, right? Because Max Planning is better in every way. Young-go began to feel uncomfortable. Why did he call me up here and rant about this? Jian asked the decisive question, can you do this job well? Young-go sighed and replied casually, yes. Jian smiled slightly, mocking her. I thought you would answer better since you're in the creative field. Young-go hesitated, thinking, did he bring me up here just to tease me? Young-go replied angrily, when I'm working, I'll be different. I'll do my best. Only then did Jian happily let her go. Okay, I'm looking forward to the results you bring in the afternoon. When the sun had flooded in, as Jian was about to put on his vest to leave, a knock on the door suddenly rang. Suu peeked his head in and asked, Director, are you planning to go home? Jian said helplessly, please act normal. Suu entered and continued happily, I'm still not used to it. It feels like you're out of my reach. Director Jian suddenly suggested, should I transfer you somewhere else so you can get used to it? Suu was shocked. What? Seriously? Jian then gave a sly smile. Seeing that sly face, Suu was furious. Hey, I got a heart attack because of you. Don't joke with me like that every time. You say that, and I always think you're being extremely serious. Jian listened to those nagging words. Suddenly he asked back, is it really that scary when I say that? Suu exploded and shouted, of course. It's even scarier when you ask like that. Jian was slightly sad and lowered his head, mumbling, so I'm really scary. Suu was surprised. What's wrong? Jian explained the employees. The two entered the elevator and continued their conversation. Oh, I know Assistant Deputy Lung-o. She works in content creation. Is something wrong? Jian said calmly, his face turned pale when he saw me. Suu sighed and frowned. Do you think there are only 1 or 2 people like that? Suddenly Suu thought in another direction. Wait, he saw her face. Young Jian, I know. Suu said in a suggestive tone, I understand, my friend, that assistant is pretty, isn't she? Jian coldly ignored him and changed the subject. Did you bring the car out yet? Seeing his friend not answering, Suu smiled even brighter. I bet something happened. Look at the way he's avoiding the question. Just as the elevator opened, Suu changed the topic. What are you going to do if you don't have anything to do? Do you want to come to my house? Why should I go there? Suu explained, your mother, the supreme being, told me to invite you out to play. Sometimes you have to get along with your family so you can get married quickly. Jian was bored. Why do you have to care about those words? Just pretend to listen to her. Suu sighed. There was no way to deal with him. Pretend. Do you think I'm like you? Jian said goodbye to Suu. I'm leaving first. He walked out to the driver who was waiting. The only life I have to pretend is the life I don't regret losing 3 years to. It's the life where I just have to maintain everything as it is without effort. I'm living such a bland life. Jian returned to the cold house, turning on the lights for some light. He took off his vest and tie and threw them casually on the chair, gently placing his watch on them. The image of Le Young-oh appeared in his head again. Jian suddenly thought, I'll say I like women with longer hair more. Is it because of her name? Jian took out a bottle of medicine. He always had a strange obsession with 12 o'clock. He took the medicine, thinking about how exactly 12 o'clock kept appearing in his head. Young Jian walked out listlessly, collapsing onto the chair and closing his eyes to rest for a bit. Suddenly, there was a beeping sound outside the door, the sound of someone entering. Jian opened his eyes slightly. The woman entered. Jian widened his eyes in surprise. The person in front of him was the person he had been thinking about, Lung-oh. Jian stammered, "What's wrong? What are you doing here?" Young-oh pursed her lips, unable to hold back her emotions. She rushed towards him quickly, then hugged Jian tightly. Young-oh looked up at him, then slowly moved closer, placing a kiss on his lips that she had been holding back for so long. Jian was dazed, still not understanding what was happening, but subconsciously he responded to her. Jian lifted Young-oh onto his body, pushing her down on the chair. Suddenly, he fell off the chair. Jian opened his eyes, panting. It turned out to be just a dream. Jian looked around, from the bedroom to the kitchen, there was no one there. Jian blamed himself. "I'm crazy." "You're going crazy, young Jian." Young-oh, well, walking on the empty road, was angry with the thought. Why are there such strange people in the world? Did he really call me up to the office just to say that? After returning home, her mind was still lingering with the thought, that's not the young Jian I used to know. No, certainly the young Jian from then on was fake. I didn't even know he was the young chairman of an entire corporation. Whatever, I don't care. Perhaps because I had Yenna, her thoughts were suddenly interrupted by the welcome hug of her little daughter. Young-oh also quickly responded to the girl with a gentle voice, "Mommy's little princess." Her mother was also shouting from the small kitchen, "Aren't you supposed to work overtime today?" Young-oh nodded in confirmation, "Yes, it's my first day." Then she didn't forget to examine her daughter. "How was Mommy, Yenna? Was today school fun?" The girl also responded with an enthusiastic attitude, "Mom, today I made a new friend at school." This information made Young-oh feel very surprised and asked back, "Do you even know what friends are? Are you already best friends?" Yenna immediately shook her head to correct, "Not yet. He doesn't know anything about Go." Young-oh at this time also gently explained, "Then you should show him." "What's his name?" Yenna immediately gave the answer, "Doing," making her happily ask more, "Is it a boy?" Then Yenna continued the story with another piece of information. "Both yesterday and today, his mother came to school. I think she'll come tomorrow too." Seeing the current appearance of the girl, Young-oh hurriedly asked, "Are you jealous of friend Doing?" But the girl immediately responded, "No." Yenna hesitated for a moment and then frankly admitted, "Actually, there is a little." This made Young-oh feel extremely guilty. "Mommy's princess, I'm sorry. It's not that I've never thought how much easier everything would be if your father was here. But didn't he recognize that I had his child? Or does he think I abandoned the baby? He must have many other women, right? Surely Hek is the kind of person who would open his heart to anyone. Should I give up early?" The next morning, while Jian was eating with his parents, involuntarily he reached out and kneaded his shoulders, causing his mother to suddenly feel worried. "What's wrong, son? Are you feeling unwell anywhere?" Jian also immediately gave a perfunctory reason. "I just didn't get enough sleep." Secretly muttering to himself while remembering what happened yesterday, "I can't say I left the sofa when I was asleep." His father also deliberately gave a reminder. "You should keep a calm state when standing in front of employees. Dad doesn't want to cause any misunderstandings. How's the new job? Is it worth it?" As soon as he heard this, he spoke up to confirm, "It's fine." His strictness made Jun's mother hurriedly interrupt, "Honey, Jian hasn't been home for a long time, and all you can talk about is work." "Oh, you might also works at the company with you." Her words did not receive attention from Jian as he was evading the topic. What about my brother? Jian's father also happily announced. I heard he was sent on a sudden business trip. After returning to the living room, he felt extremely empty. He'd always feel very strange every time he went home to his parents. His childhood memories were very clear, but he didn't remember anything from the last 7 years. Since realizing that, he felt like he was struck by lightning. His train of thought was suddenly interrupted by a loud call. Son, what are you doing? Jian turned his head and answered. Just messing around. Dad, what's up? She replied in a gentle tone. He just left for work. Mom told Dad to tell you, but he seemed to be in a hurry. Jian quickly said goodbye, then I should go too. But when she nodded in agreement, okay, be careful. He suddenly called out, Mom, the 3 years of my lost memories, what happened? Jian's mother's face suddenly changed. Then she forced a smile and explained, you went to the military. Nothing special happened. Causing Jian to quickly fall into thought, so that's probably the reason. She quickly advised her son, losing your memory simply means you don't have to worry about the past anymore. Then Jian's mother came to his side again with a whisper, do you remember you used to have a small mark right here? Mom can know what you're thinking by looking at it. Every time you feel bad, it turns red. He quickly confirmed after hearing this information. I remember. That's why I use my hair to cover it up, because it's quite uncomfortable for me to have my thoughts read. At this time, she deliberately reminded him, if you're having any problems, can you tell Mom? Jian happily agreed to reassure his mother. I understand. She quickly gave him a warm hug. Mom loves you. You are all I have. After arriving at the company, Young-go secretly complained, I couldn't sleep at all last night, but I still have to go to work. Her colleague greeted her warmly, good morning, making Young-go feel better. Kyun, here early today too? He replied with a bright smile, I'm still new anyway. Would you like to go to the break room with me? I can show you how to use the coffee machine. Young-go nodded in agreement after hearing the offer. Sure, wait for me to put some things down first. While she was rearranging things in her bag, she heard a familiar voice. Guess who we have here? Yo, is that really you? Do you remember me? Young-go said, it's me, Chun Bin. She immediately replied, I remember you, Chun Bi. There's no way I could forget you. She was still very happy. It's great to see you again. How have you been? Young-go had to politely reply, I'm fine. Do you work here too? Yunan friendly took her hand. Yes, I work in content creation. So you're the assistant production manager. How long have you been working here? When Young-go answered, only about a year, Yunan exclaimed in surprise, really? What have you been doing? She paused for a moment, then continued to boast, I'm already a manager here. Young-go and Yunai were classmates throughout the first year of high school. She always asked her about the things she brought to class. Do you like it? You know I never touch it, although she tried to refuse. No thanks, I don't wear makeup. Yunai kept pulling her, you're already pretty, so if you wear makeup, you'll look like an angel. And this is a branded item. But Young-go continued to refuse. Thank you, I really don't need it. Her classmate spoke up, she doesn't need it, Yunai. But Young-go's attitude didn't change. With her final words, sorry, that was the only time she talked to Yunai. A few days later, while getting food in the cafeteria, Young-ho called out, Mom. But she signaled him to be quiet. Young-ho's mother was working in the kitchen, which caught Yoon's attention, and she secretly watched them. Then she quickly went to get food. Young-ho's mother, despite being exhausted from the hot working environment, cheerfully wished Yunai, enjoy your meal. Unexpectedly, she was met with a harsh attitude. Hey you! How can you blatantly scoop food with those wet hands? You have to change your gloves. Young-go's mother, though a little surprised, quickly complied. I'm sorry, I'll change them and get you another tray. However, I used my sleeve to wipe, not my hands. Anyway, I'm very sorry. Enjoy your meal. Yunai committed an outrageous act by deliberately spilling the soup. The loud noise caused Yo to look up. The cafeteria became noisy, causing the manager to appear immediately and question, what's going on? A friend of Yunai deliberately accused Young-go's mother. She threw the soup at Yunai after he gave her advice on hygiene issues. Although her mother tried to explain, No, it's a misunderstanding. She still made an unreasonable request. Apologize. You're an adult. You shouldn't act like this. You should apologize like a responsible adult. Young-go, unable to watch any longer, angrily left the table. But her steps suddenly stopped when she saw her mother constantly shaking her head. She whispered, "Don't come here," causing Young-go to bite her lip and try to endure. Her mother bowed her head with respect. "I'm sorry." That's how her mother was fired from the cafeteria. In the following days, Young-go always heard whispers from her classmates. "I heard that the person who pushed Yunai in the cafeteria was Young-go's mother. I also heard that she takes leftover food from the cafeteria home. She probably does that to feed him. How disgusting. Begging at school?" At the same time, Yunai deliberately spoke up, "Hey everyone, you shouldn't say that," causing the friends surrounding her to exclaim, "You really forgive her after she hurt you so much?" Yunai, Chai Yunai is so nice. Her current confident appearance made Young-oh feel a little uncomfortable, but she politely continued. "So, you're a manager?" Yunai still couldn't change her arrogant personality and made a request to her. "That's right, so you should use the proper title. You know that, right? We'll be seeing each other more often. Try to work hard." Even though Yunai had left, Young-oh still didn't understand what was happening. A discouraged thought appeared in her head. From Jian to Yunai, another reason to quit. I should probably write a resignation letter. Then she unexpectedly received a phone call and happily answered, "Yes, this is production team 2. To the other end of the line, a proposal. I'm Park S from the HR team. Could you come here for a moment?" Young-oh walked while constantly wondering why the HR team. She opened the door and entered, receiving a friendly greeting. "Hello," and received a warm welcome. "You're here, Assistant Manager Lee. This way. I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's been a change in your salary. Please have a seat." This information made Young-oh gasp in surprise. Suu cheerfully said, "It's increased. It clearly states the terms and conditions for a salary increase this year. See if it's okay." After looking over the information, Young-oh eagerly asked, "Yes? Should I sign here?" Her mood was more excited than ever. This company isn't too bad after all. Unexpectedly, Suu made another request. "And this is the personal information form that the HR team has prepared. Please fill it out completely." She accepted it while comforting herself, "Just bear with it a little longer." Young-oh then her eyes widened in surprise when she discovered the information on the survey. There's no family information. Suu, seeing her questioning eyes, deliberately asked, "Is there a problem?" But she refused his help. Oh no. Then a thought appeared in her mind. That's good. If Jian didn't investigate, then I don't want him to know anything about Yena. Married yet? I'm still single. That's enough, honestly. This is also a suitable company for my job. The location is very convenient. That's right, just stay for a few years. Before she could finish her thought, she saw him standing right in front of her. Her mood became extremely panicked and confused. Where do I hide? Young-ho quickly hid in a corner with a shameful thought. Why do I look like this? After silently checking for a while, she also discovered they were carrying out the event announced yesterday. Announcement from Max Planning. Event announcement on May 10th at 9 o'clock. Children from O Kindergarten will come for a practical experience program. Please act as good role models. Do not shout or make careless statements and be worthy of the children's learning. Seeing his friendly smile as he looked at the children made her feel suspicious. Jian, are children also cute in your eyes? The children's teacher stepped forward to express gratitude. Thank you for the invitation. Jian happily replied humbly, You're welcome. I hope this will be beneficial for the children. The conference room is on the upper floor, the teacher quickly added and handed over a gift. I understand. Oh, and this is just a small gift we baked together. The little ones spent all day yesterday making it. We also needed the support of a professional chef, so I'm sure it won't taste too bad. Please eat it with the others. There are also cards written by the little ones. Jian immediately accepted the gift with a promise. Thank you, we'll eat it together. Before taking the children to the conference room, the teacher reminded them to say goodbye before going upstairs, causing the children to quickly say in unison, Goodbye, Uncle Jian. Jian quickly raised his hand to signal. The elevator door closed, and Jian intended to turn and leave but stopped after moving a short distance. He threw the bag of cookies into the trash can. This action made Young-oh feel extremely indignant. She quickly rushed out with a loud shout. Wait. Young-oh decisively grabbed Jian's hand, her eyes fixed on the bag of cookies with a disappointed thought. Is the father of my child this kind of person? She loudly questioned. How can you throw them away like that? Jian was stunned for a long time, then quickly pulled his hand away. For some unknown reason, he touched her hand again and deliberately held it tightly without letting go. Let me talk for a bit. This caused Young-oh to panic and shout, Hey, what's going on, director? What are you doing here? Please hurry up, you're late. Before pulling Jian away, she didn't forget to say goodbye. Excuse us, Assistant Lee. I mean just me. I'm sorry. I'll contact you later. The two quickly entered the elevator. When only the two of them were left, Suu began to scold, Hey, you scared me to death. You're in big trouble. How could you hold a female employee's hand like that? No matter how much you like her, you can't do that. She's not just any woman, she's Assistant Young-oh. Jian maintained a calm attitude and replied, You were rude to me. While returning to the office, Young-oh couldn't escape the feeling of disappointment. I knew it. Everything he showed all this time was fake. I can't stop feeling upset. She continued to receive a call. Production Team 2 speaking. She heard a familiar voice, Assistant Lee, it's me, Suu. You must have been surprised just now. I apologize for his strange behavior. I hope you can forgive him. Although Young-oh outwardly replied cheerfully, Oh yes, it's okay, she felt resentful inside. Why is Suu the one apologizing? Doesn't Young-oh have a mouth to apologize? He continued to explain, Actually, I'm Director Young-oh's classmate. We were classmates in high school. He was also my senior, although he probably doesn't remember anything. Therefore, as a friend, I will give him some advice. I will definitely ask him to apologize to you. Young-oh deliberately dissuaded him after hearing this. It's okay. It's not too big of a deal to make a fuss about. I'm fine, really. Before hanging up, Suu enthusiastically reminded, I understand. Well, feel free to tell me if you encounter any difficulties in the future. I will do my best to help you solve them. After hanging up, Young-oh shuddered in fear. I want to go home. Seeing her appearance, her colleague came to ask, Assistant Lee, I just wanted to remind you not to forget the drinking party at 10 o'clock. See you later. We'll wait for you there. Young-oh felt extremely stressed. Drinking party, that's the celebration party with Yoon's team. During the meeting, Young-oh was constantly promoted by the head of the department. The plan for the new product of One Liquor will be handled by Team 1 and Team 2. This is our content creator assistant Lee Young-oh. Yoon enthusiastically greeted after hearing the introduction, You're here. I don't know how to take on all that work. I'm looking forward to working with you. The people in the room continued to discuss. The target audience is office workers in their 20s to 30s. The idea will be a special fermented barley for me to enjoy after work. Then how about telling the story of a single person? We can make them look sad because they constantly see couples day to day. Then Team 2 will have a great advantage because everyone is single. Kian immediately asked Young-oh, Do you have a boyfriend? She naively replied, Not yet. Yoon unexpectedly spoke up, probably not suitable for the conversation. The story of living alone is a long time ago. Or should we let Assistant Lee write the main script? The team leader immediately concluded, We will try to further develop what we just discussed. The next meeting will be next Tuesday. Thank you everyone for working hard. Yoon then continued to flatter the team leader, You must be very tired. She quickly replied, Maybe I don't feel well either. Oh, right. When are you planning to get married? Yoon whispered in the team leader's ear, The thing is, my mom wants to do it this year, but you know she's very busy, so I'm not sure. Have a nice lunch. After saying goodbye to her, Thank you, you too, Manager Chai. The team leader whispered in Young-oh's ear, Oh Assistant Lee, actually I was passing by earlier and saw the director holding your hand in front of the elevator. Is it because the director threw away the children's gift? At this, Young-go honestly replied, "It seems you saw everything. I probably went too far, but I don't think the director did wrong." The team leader explained further, "I understand, but you see his situation is different from ours. Director Young was involved in an accident. The company is trying to keep it quiet, but they said he was seriously injured and has amnesia. He lost 3 years of memories, but that was a few years ago. They said he doesn't even remember going to military service." This information quickly reminded her of the phone call earlier. That's what Suu said, that he was also her senior in the military, but he probably doesn't remember anything either. Then the team leader continued to analyze, "I guess he became more cautious after the accident. Those cookies too, it's hard to blindly trust food made by strangers. Eating it could be risky." Young-ho, trembling, continued to ask, "Do you know the exact time of the accident?" She quickly pulled out her phone to search. "Wait a minute, here it is. Here's a news article about the accident. A hit-and-run accident in a building's parking lot. The victim is in critical condition. Reporter, Moon Gill. On November 3, around 1 a.m., the accident occurred in the parking lot of an office building in Yongsan-gu, Seoul. A young man in his 20s was hit by a vehicle." The team leader emphasized again, his family tightly controlled the news articles. Only this page remains. Young-go quickly and quietly remembered, 7 years ago, on November 3, the day he promised to pick her up at 3 p.m. to go to the hospital together. Seeing her silent and not responding, the team leader urgently called out, "Assistant Lee, what's wrong? Are you okay?" Young-go, with her trembling body, immediately replied, "Yes, I'm fine. Thank you for telling me this." She quickly ran away before the team leader's bewildered gaze. In her mind, she was concerned, "So he's forgotten me." Young-go rushed to the secretary's office and urgently asked, "Where is the director?" But she lost all patience and decided to barge in. Despite the secretary's obstruction, he's with a client. They're waiting on the first floor. Entering the staircase, Young-go trembled with the thought, "He's not pretending not to know me. He really doesn't have any memory of us, even Yena. How could he forget everything about me?" Jian, upon seeing her staring at him, immediately turned his head to look behind him, then awkwardly looked forward as if not understanding what was happening. Young-go took a gasping breath and boldly stepped closer to him. While the two were face to face, Young-go looked at Jian with a heartbroken gaze. He was in so much pain that he lost all his memories. Then she boldly spoke, "Do you know who I am?" Jian replied with an innocent look, "Of course. You're the content creator assistant manager Lee." Her voice became urgent, "What else?" She was still trying to suppress the thoughts in her heart. "Jian, your child was born. Our daughter has grown up so beautifully." While she was about to reproach him, she heard a familiar voice, "Honey, what are you doing?" She turned around to look and discovered it was her friend Yunai. She even proactively introduced, "Honey, have I ever told you Assistant Lee is my high school classmate?" "But Young-go, something's not right here." Young-go frowned when she heard the question but denied, "No, there isn't." Chennai said happily, "You must be going to lunch, right?" She said reluctantly, "Yes." Suddenly, she said, "Young-go, you can talk freely when no one is around." Hearing this, Young-go was startled. Yunai raised her voice to poke, "Or are you trying to make yourself look bad?" She explained awkwardly, "That's not it." Then she looked for an excuse to leave. Yunai asked deliberately, "You said you were going to lunch?" Young-go pretended to answer, "I just realized I forgot some things." She turned and left hurriedly. After speaking, the two looked at Young-go's footsteps. Just then, Jian took his hand off the arm Yunai was holding. She immediately followed, "Honey, what happened? What did Young-go say to you?" "Just a small warning, but you have to be careful with Young-go. When we were in high school, she secretly used my makeup. All my friends knew, but she still tried to hide it. Maybe she's fixed that now, but it doesn't hurt to be careful, honey." And said coldly, "Chai Yunai, step back over the line." Yunai watched his back. They had to pretend to be in a relationship to avoid facing trouble. Years ago, a rumor spread among Yoon's relatives that they heard Chai Yunai and Lee Jian of the Syrian group were dating. Seizing that good opportunity and using it as a reason, Yunai offered something to Jian. She asked him directly, Should we pretend to be dating? I'm not saying we should really date, just pretend. Seeing him leave, she tried to persuade, you're tired of the girls following you day and night, and your mother will find you someone to go on a blind date with because I'm in the same position as you. Hearing that, Jian said, just do whatever you want. Yunai thought, we have the same interests, so this relationship has been good until now. The name Jian will soon become the name of the groom. She also showed this relationship in the company. She deliberately wore a ring. Everyone exclaimed, your ring is so beautiful. She pretended to answer, I know. It's a gift. Everyone thought it was her boyfriend who gave it. That's how, by unilaterally enjoying it, she didn't expect Jian to be assigned to Max Planning. Announcement from Max Planning. There is a change in personnel. We are pleased to announce the personnel appointments as follows. Date of issue, May 2nd. Details of the issue. Change of position issued by Jian, Strategy Department, Saurian Food Division. Change, Director of Strategic Planning Department of Max Planning. Honestly, Yunai was a little hesitant at first but then immediately felt relieved. Jian was always like that, both in the past and now. The things she found showed that his relationships in the past had been wiped out. She received a report of his personal life. This is the report for the request she sent a month ago. After the information gathering process, they did not find any impact on Jian's personal life. He has good relationships with everyone around him but has never been too close to any woman. She's not sure if he has misophobia or not, but is always alone. Therefore, the only person who can be his wife is Yunai, she thought. The cake and the letter were thrown on the table. Thank you for inviting me. I learned a lot and became a great teacher. I hope you like the cakes. Jian thought to himself, again, why? What did she mean by asking me? What else was there? Was it because of what happened this morning? To ask why I grabbed her wrist? Or did Park scare her? Is she really sad? He leaned back tiredly. I should ask her outside. The sun had set. Jian was very tired, his head was a mess, but when working, time flies. He called his mother, saying that he had to work overtime today. His mother asked, okay, have you eaten anything yet? Youngo said she had eaten and asked about Yenna. She had eaten rice and some ice cream. Suddenly, her mother added, there's a hair clip at that shop. She was surprised. What hair clip? Youngo's mother replied, a purple hair clip you used to look for. The time was about a year ago. She admitted that if it had been a year, she would have forgotten it. But her mother said, only you forgot it. You mentioned it a lot. How could I forget it? You cried looking for it and now you forget to get it. Youngo replied casually, it must not be important. The woman heard and said, it's okay if you forget. At least I remember it. Go back to your work then. She said goodbye to her mother. When she turned it off, she secretly thought to Jian, Youngo is only worth as much as that hair clip, lost without realizing and not even bothering to look for it. That's also a type of amnesia, right? While she was lost in thought, Yunai called assistant manager Youngo. She asked if she was also participating in the plan discussion meeting. She pointed to the file. Can you bring this to that room for me? It's essential for the meeting. Youngo agreed. When she heard, suddenly she asked assistant manager Youngo, did I say something that made you uncomfortable? She was surprised. I'm not uncomfortable. Yunai poked again. You're not upset that I'm giving you more work, are you? Of course, Youngo said no, but she sighed. Assistant manager Youngo, if you know how to be angry to the point of turning red in the face just because of those little things, you should also know how to stop hurting others and ruining their mood. Yunai deliberately attracted the attention of the staff, then she picked up the file. Okay, I'll do it myself. Try to calm down. Youngo just stared blankly after her. What's wrong with her? The sound of children crying loudly filled the sky. No, I'm not going to brush my teeth. This makes the parents very tired. This kid, come here now. The boy hugged the leg of the man who had just come home. Dad, save me. The mother scolded. Come back here quickly. The boy begged, Mom, just today, just today. She shouted, no, today. Do you want to get hit or brush your teeth? The boy would rather choose to get hit. Seeing the boy running away, she hurried after him. This kid, stop there. You chose to get hit. Why are you running away? He took the opportunity to pick up his daughter. Doan, come here, Dad's Doan. The mother was curious. Come back here. As soon as Mom is still kind, but he retorted, Mom is never kind when she says that. He cried loudly because he was being dragged away. No, I'll never brush my teeth again. She used the last trick. Wait and see. I'll tell Yenna about this, that Park doing never brushes his teeth. It's very dirty. Suddenly, the boy stopped, then wiped away his tears. Mom, I'll do it myself. He walked away after speaking. His father was also stunned. What did he just hear? He followed quietly. Unbelievable. Our son has changed. The child who always secretly eats his boogers. He was shocked and asked his wife, who is Yenna? She said, she's Doan at the BEDC center. She's very pretty, talented too. She looks very smart. The head of the center has to praise her too. She's really an excellent child. He was very happy to hear that. That's right. They have to become close friends. At the company, Yunai kept finding fault with Young Go. Young Go, what's wrong with your expression? She didn't understand. What do you mean? Yunai said, you look like you're busy thinking about something. Young Go refused, thinking, I'm not bothered by anything, but she argued, that's exactly what I'm saying. Even when you're very normal, you look like you're bothered by something. Young Go, I'll say this to you, I think you better fix your expression a little. I didn't do anything wrong to climb to a higher position than you. Young Go's face went blank when she heard that. She laughed, understanding. Young Go wondered, maybe this is a good thing for some people. Chai Yunai has always been like this, a bad-tempered, malicious person. She can only curse her at the meeting. The current calls were experiencing slow connection. However, Metal has a technology combination that can completely solve this problem. It can also operate stably even in areas with weak signals. That would be a great tool for people who frequently make phone calls. Just then, Jian entered. Everyone was stunned. Director, he said. Don't mind me, just continue. Everyone was sweating. Hello, Director. How can we pretend? Then he pulled up a chair and sat down. Okay, let's continue. Everyone watched Jian and Yunai. They were sitting close to each other. They must have something to say, Young Go thought to herself. 7 years ago, Jian was always the one who took the initiative. He never cared where it was. It would always erupt without a bit of restraint. It may be a little different for those he has only met for a few months or with those who have forgotten him for a few years. But from just now, she glanced. Why does it feel like he's staring at me? Why don't you focus on the meeting? Why are you doing that while your lover is sitting right next to you? The presenter continued, the expected product price is now 50 billion won in 3 months, including production costs and online costs. Jian suddenly spoke, very good, I'll look forward to it. Young Go got goosebumps. Don't say that while staring at me. Finally, it was time to go home. Young Go tiredly entered the house. I'm home. Her mother peeked out, you're back. As soon as she got back, she asked where Yenna was. She said the girl fell asleep while waiting for her to come back. She slumped on the chair. Every time I go to work, I feel like I'm getting a year older. If I stay there for 3 weeks, I'll be the same age as Mom. Suddenly she jumped up. Mom, should I just quit? Unexpectedly, she was very nonchalant. Yeah, just quit. Quit and I'll quit working at the restaurant too. She pouted. Why are you quitting at the restaurant? We have to work together. She said, you can't even cook a decent meal. She asked, is the job not going well? Why do you want to work at a restaurant? She sighed, no, I just want to try something else. Just then Yenna came out. Young Go quickly stood up. Little Princess Yenna, are you still awake? Let's go to bed with Mom. The girl asked, why are you so late, Mom? I waited for you a long time. She coaxed, I'm sorry. Mom promises to play with you a lot this weekend. Yenna softly called her, saying that Park Doing keeps walking around after her. He bothers me a lot. Young Go asked, has Doing taught you how to play chess? The girl replied, Mom, only the teacher teaches us how to play chess. Both Doing and I learn from the teacher. She hugged the girl, that's right, you have to learn from the teacher. She sighed, I wish I had a teacher, someone who could give me advice whenever problems arise. The next morning at the company, Jian thought to himself, I've been working hard with the company's main meeting. The more meetings, the more events, the less time I have to rest. Just then, the secretary asked him, Director, you're back. He replied, yeah. Is there any contact? She said, she would make a report right away. Before leaving, he said, by the way, there was an employee who came to visit yesterday. Young Go, when did she come? The secretary replied, around 12 o'clock. He smiled. It seems urgent. Did you talk to her? Call Young-oh back for me. Outside, Young-oh was told there was a typo in the text. The boy said, if you discount up to 75%, isn't that too much? She begged, please don't tell anyone. Keep it a secret for me. Keihan, proud, said, let me see. She tried to beg, come on, don't say it, I'll treat you. Suddenly, someone called Y.O. The secretary said the director was calling her. She was stunned. Why call me again? Keihan cheered, good luck, assistant manager. Young-go knocked on his door and bowed her head to greet him. When she entered, she said, hello, director. I was informed that you were looking for me. He said, that's right. Jian approached, making her afraid with his sharp eyes and cautious, slightly tense expression. His words hinted he wanted to say more than one thing. The silence stirred curiosity. Okay, I admit this feeling is not normal, but being pulled doesn't mean you have to follow. I have to understand it correctly. Jian's voice interrupted her thoughts. Sit down. Young-oh was very tired. She wanted to be with him but also didn't want to abandon herself. Jian pointed to the cake tray. Just take as much as you want. These are the cakes from yesterday. She asked in surprise, did you pick them up again? He asked back, you don't want what I picked up? She quickly denied it. No, Y.O. picked up a cake. Jian was always watching her every move. He said, I just heard today that you were looking for me yesterday. You should explain why you were looking for me so urgently. Seeing that Young-oh seemed hesitant to speak, Jian offered, just speak freely. The girl pursed her lips for a long time, then boldly replied, I came for the cakes. Jian had to stop for a while because of this reason. Young-oh said calmly, because I will be the one eating it from now on. If you intend to throw away food, please give it to me. I just wanted to say that. Seeing her aggressive attitude, Jian smiled and asked, so you only looked for me for that? Young-oh answered without hesitation, yes. He asked, but you cried and didn't say that. Young-oh explained awkwardly, that's because the situations are different. The more she answered, the more curious Jian became. What are the different situations? She had to answer to get over it. It's just my personal problem. Suddenly, Jian glared and asked in a serious tone, did Vice President Park Sang-gu threaten you? Young-oh asked in confusion, afraid that Jian would have unnecessary misunderstandings. She replied, no, definitely not. Vice President Park Sang-gu is a great person. Jian stared at Young-oh without saying anything. A silent atmosphere suddenly enveloped the entire room. Young-oh looked at Jian with sad eyes and thought, more than you, I shouldn't have been weak. The man who never talked about family with me, the man who ruthlessly forgot everything, the man who doesn't believe in me anymore, doesn't know I have a child. I wonder if you are a bad or pitiful person. Old memories suddenly rushed into her mind, but didn't I talk to him after the accident? How can he call me when he doesn't have any, like that? Is that really a man's voice? Y.O.'s lips moved as if to ask Jian something, but in the end, she chose to be silent. Maybe it wasn't done by this person. If that call was an arrangement for us to leave each other according to someone's plan. After a while of reasoning, Young-oh whispered, Director, have you ever heard my name? My name is Leong-oh. Jian panicked and asked, have you ever been in an advertisement for a famous brand and had your name on their product? The girl also wanted to go crazy at Jian's ridiculous question. You idiot. She took a deep breath to calm down and contemplate. Is it right to reveal the truth about herself and Yena right now? Isn't this person about to get married? It seems that Young-oh is standing between these two difficult choices, but it's better to know now than after getting married. After careful consideration, Young-oh took the courage to call the director. I have something to say.